EVO 10, back in the garage. More mods, more things to do.
Always.
We have the front bumper off, as you guys can see. We skipped this whole process because there are like a million videos on how to remove the bumper, so there's no point in showing you, but this is the one that we did a half wrap. What else did we do? We threw on a front lip. We did the underglow, the hood, we put on the hood, headlights, taillights. Oh, we did a lot to your car. Okay, but anyways, today's video, we are replacing, what would you call this? A bumper trim, cover trim? This bit over here, so this is the factory one. Plastic, polymer, there's your Mitsubishi emblem, and we are replacing it, whoops, with this bad boy over here. This is from Seibon. It is obviously a carbon fiber. Nice, look at that weave first of all. This is why I like Seibon, because that's good quality. You think your hood is Seibon too, right?
Yeah.
So hood on the EVO is Seibon. Look at it, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Not only that, but this is what brand new carbon fiber looks like. And this is what carbon fiber looks like when you don't take care of it. Look at that. Dusty. Looks like the clear coat is starting to go away, but yeah, we don't need to pay attention too much. Anywho guys, bumper is off. Very simple. We know we have clips all attached to like the little liner piece down there. We have clips on the top that you need to remove. There's like one plug, 450, and we are modifying pretty much everything. It turns out this bit over here, they don't line up, at least the bottom ones don't line up with the, you can hold it now. Hold it with, doesn't line up with the screws from the factory. Not only that, but we also, because this is a lot smaller in height, the mesh doesn't exactly line up, but we'll figure that out as we go. Yeah. But anywho guys, we are modifying the hell out of it with our oscillating tool. We had to cut off the nips, all 4 of them, because they are just pushing out a lot. They're pretty thick, as you guys can see, and look, carbon fiber is stupid dumb strong. This is a brand new blade. It's eating the teeth, man. We're gonna have to replace the blade pretty soon. But we cut these off. These had like these, it extended out, all 4 of them. That's where you're supposed to screw in down here. But pushing up against the mounting holes here. So we gotta do some modifying, doing some cutting, doing some trimming here. So here's a piece lined up. As you guys can see, the mesh is it's not even there. We'll have to bend this up, I think, to fit it, because it's not reaching from the Seibon factory. It's not the same spec. Not only that, but we trimmed off the focus. There we go. The tip of the Mitsubishi emblem, dude. We had to cut the tip because, well, it wasn't fitting on that. If we look on the factory one, slide this through real quick. We look on the factory one, huge gap. So we had to do that, replicate that. So we're doing a lot of trimming, a lot of cutting. Actually, look at that. There you go. That's a perfect comparison between factory and aftermarket. So I guess keep that in mind. Of course, you know, each part is made to order, so not all of them are going to be exactly perfect, which is okay. But damn, we are doing a lot of modifying. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to chop these things off. It's just pushing too much up against the bracket. Yeah. So as we predicted, these little tabs that came from the manufacturer do need to be trimmed down, just like we did here, because it is just pushing up against the bracket a lot. So we're gonna trim this down. Not only that, I forgot to mention this, but we had to trim off this little notch over here because the bracket, or I'm sorry, the bumper here, it was pushing up against it, so we had to cut it to slip it on top. All right, after doing some more trimming and going through a blade, I think we're getting closer to our goal, our fitment goal here. We're pretty much just trying to close up this gap. So you can see there's still a bit of a gap at the top, but the bottom is much better, a lot better than what it was before. And that is because we are we are just chopping down that bottom tab over here. Now, keep in mind, all the cutting we're doing is on the carbon fiber trim. We haven't cut anything into the bumper yet. I originally notched off kind of like a right angle, but obviously the bumper isn't square cut, so I had to sort of do an angle in, and it's a lot better now. So that's what we're gonna do on this side, and then hopefully the bottom, at least, of this piece will be a lot more flush. All right, peeps, here is the sit rep. We haven't secured it, but it's on for now. This is a that's the factory screw. I have literally using whatever hardware we can find, because the screws, the factory screws aren't long enough after doing all that trimming. So we have this one, stainless steel. It's good, won't rust up or anything like that. We managed the bottom ones. I'm using the factory screws. It's working. Obviously doing a lot of pre-drilling and then slowly trying to screw that in and then finishing up by hand, because I don't want to overdo it. And you can definitely hear the carbon like cracking whenever you do try to force it in. For the most part, the fitment is pretty good. This side's actually really good. Nice. No open gap, you can't see inside, which is exactly what we're trying to do. We did have to notch off a lot from the emblem here. This aftermarket piece is not as tall as the factory one. This is a lot taller, so we didn't have to change up any of the right there. Yeah, not much, probably less than a 1/4 inch difference, but again, it's enough. When it's not factory, the holes don't line up. But we have the bottom one in right now. I'm looking for hardware to secure the top one, and then we're going to secure the last one. After doing a lot of trimming, trimmed off the tab down here. We had to bend the mesh. Originally, on this mesh, it has those little hooks that would latch onto that on the original, but the carbon fiber one does not have that. So we are just pretty much bending it straight up, and then when we get to that point, we'll figure out a way to secure that. But here's where we're at now. And just here's a glimpse. By the way, guys, carbon fiber is, that Kevlar is pretty strong because it ate the teeth off of this one. This is a brand new blade. Come on, focus. It's not focusing. Focus! Focus! Nope, not focusing at all, but take my word for it. I don't want to trip over these. This is such a terrible place for the vacuums. But we got it on this side. I think we should just focus on this side, because this is where our hard work is showing right now. Notched off a decent amount from here. It's only when you come onto this side though. If you're looking at it at like a specific angle.
Yeah, even then it's really not that bad.
Yeah, it really isn't actually.
It's really not.
It actually looks good actually. I mean, from out here. From out here, yeah. That's nice. Looks good. But here's the part that really kicked our ass. Was having the right hardware, which we didn't have. And we're mismatching a little bit, the hardware a bit. Secured that last one there. Now the hard part is putting everything back together. We had to change the direction a lot so that we can catch the right spot, because that's really what it was with this. But I mean, for the most part, it's good. It's secured. It's not going anywhere. Oh shit.
No.
Matter of fact, I bet you can go through a car wash with this and it'll stay on. Again, who's gonna have their head down like right here, looking, staring right at this? Car enthusiasts. Oh, also another thing too, we had to bend up this mesh on this end because it was scraping up against this thing, and so a word of advice is to mask this off with some tape and protect the face, as we weren't doing that. Oh, and then the other thing too, when you do buy this, look at this. Anyone can come in here and just start stealing your spark plugs. All right, we put these back on. We ended up bending this, and as predicted, this bit doesn't fit on, so we had to zip tie it. Everything's been zip tied. The mesh has been zip tied.
When in doubt, zip tie.
Zip ties. There we go. Zip tied the hell out of it. Zip tied that. Zip tied, zip tied, zip ties. It's working. It's holding. This stuff's not gonna be rattling. So we're good. We're putting everything back together as of now. And as always, we have extra hardware. But
as always, I don't think that's ever a good thing.
it's not a good thing, but it happens.
I don't know.
Woo.
You want to be on a leash?
No.
Maybe we should put them on blast, you know.
Put the damn bumper on there. Like it's really not worth it to me, bro. Like it looks good.
That's why. Maybe that's why it's not fitting on the car, because this is probably like trying to keep the bumper like tight corners. Anywho, throwing the bumper on. The bumper's not actually fitting back on. Like we can see, we had gap around headlights on both ends. But not only that, our last screw that was holding in place over here decided not to work anymore and pulled itself off. But I think my suspicion is that because we had the bumper off, there wasn't much tension or stress on the bumper itself, so it was nice and relaxed. But as soon as we pulled it apart and pulled it to the edges where it needs to hold on, that last screw didn't fit, and the fitment wasn't, it doesn't work. It does not work. This side is holding just fine. In fact, this is our good side, if anything.
To be honest, this side was fitting fine. Remember, I got it before, and then you were struggling with that side. But then I pushed in that side, now I can't even get this side.
Yeah, I think it's the piece, man. The piece is not made properly, I think. Which is a little disappointing because, like,
It's a good looking piece.
it's a nice piece. It's a good piece. The bumper has to grab onto those clips and latch on, but in doing so, we have a big old gap here. Look at that. And if you think that it's not in its correct location, look at this. This is it. This is where it's supposed to be. So something's up with this piece. I think this piece is really warping the bumper right now. It's a good looking piece, I won't lie. At least this screw is
It's holding here.
this one's holding it down right now, but yeah, I'm afraid. Actually, I shouldn't even put pressure on it. Well, that kind of blows.
Probably.
Yeah, because look at this. We got a gap, and it's not too far off from where it's supposed to be.
You know go in there, like
Does
that?
it fit?
Not really. I feel like the mesh like gets in the way. I'm not gonna lie. I think the mesh was like the downfall of this. But even then, it's like I don't know, man. It's just this whole part just was not it. Dude.
Maybe we should have popped these off. We should have popped off the foam.
It's this, bro. I promise you. When you put it on with that, you're gonna see that this literally fits inside of that.
I think because that is not the exact same height, the exact same dimensions as the factory one. It was just pushing off of it, and because it was pushing off, this piece kind of came off.
It just wouldn't go in.
It would not. The bumper would not fit in. You guys saw that earlier. The bumper would not fit in, and you could tell like their screw was holding in. The screw barely was holding that one in. Same thing for this one, actually. The bottom ones kind of weren't fitting in, but anyways, you're right. I think you're right. That was it. This was pushing way too much on this bit, so I think we need to replace hardware, change hardware for the next time we do this. Get the correct hardware and then probably remove those, at least this front.
No, but that's a safety thing, bro. Like that's
The crash bar, this thing, the crash beam, yeah. But that foam thing, nah. I don't think so, man. I bet you if we pop that off,
it would just fit.
this would probably fit and would have worked fine. But for a future event, if you did want to put this thing back on, we would need to probably remove this foam. There you have it, $450 original Seibon piece, not fitting. Huge bummer, would have looked really cool on the EVO 10, but be sure to stick around and see if we end up returning the chopped up piece or if we continue to modify everything and anything to fit this bad boy on. With that said, appreciate you all joining me in today's video. Peace, take care.